All right, moving on the entertainment news. Next up, Peter Okoye of Psquare testify against brother Jude Okoye. Peter Okoye, one half of the defunct Nigerian music duo Psquare, testified against his elder brother and former manager Jude Okoye in the ongoing trial over alleged money laundering involving 1.3 billion naira, $1 million, and 34,537 pounds, 559 pence, which led to a dramatic family feud in the courtroom. At the Federal High Court in Lagos, Justice Alexander Okoye commenced the trial, which centers on serious financial misconduct allegations against Jude Okoye and his company Northside Music Limited. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) filed a 7-count charge against Jude following a petition by his younger brother Peter, as evidenced by EFCC counsel Larry Peter Eso. Peter testified about how he came to suspect his brother of mismanaging and diverting funds that were due to the music group, saying Psquare started in 1997-1998. Before Jude became our manager, we had others including Chioma Ugochi and the late Howie T. But when Jude came on board, things changed. He was the sole signatory to all our accounts, Ecobank, Zenith, and FCMB. Peter also stated that this arrangement led to frequent disputes and left him unable to access funds. He said, and I quote, "There were months I couldn't access money. It was so bad that I had to go through our lawyer Festus Keyamo to create a sharing formula," end quote. He recalled a particularly frustrating incident while constructing his house in Okoye, saying the house project was financed by Northwest Entertainment Limited, but for 6 months, they stopped funding mine. When I asked why, I was told, as you leave Psquare, you leave the money. That was when I knew something wasn't right, end quote.
Yes, he also spoke about discovering a company with the name Northside Music Limited, allegedly created by Jude without the knowledge of the other group members, which mirrored their official company, Northside Entertainment Limited, and appeared to be collecting royalties due to Psquare. He said, and I quote, "By 2022, when people wanted to acquire our albums, I requested a statement of account, but Jude refused. Even the account officers at Zenith Bank told me he instructed them not to give me access. They said the only way I could get the documents was through the court," end quote. Peter testified that to his dismay, he discovered that the same aggregators managing Psquare's digital content also handled Northside Music Limited, Jude's separate company. He said his attempts to get clarity from his twin brother Paul yielded no result, disclosing, "When I asked Paul, he said, 'You know, say I don't know anything about it,' and told me to go meet Jude," end quote. Further digging led Peter to the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC), where he discovered that Jude and his wife were listed directors of Northside Music Limited, with Jude owning 20% and his wife holding 80%. He also alleged that attempts to retrieve their music catalog from Jude revealed that the back-end data had been tampered with, saying, "When we tried to sell the catalog, potential buyers said the numbers had been reduced and the value was no longer worth their offer," end quote. Peter also claimed that a new company, Mad Solutions, had paid him $22,000 after taking over the catalogs, but he was told that Jude and Paul had already received their own payments. He further alleged that the group's tax consultant told him Jude had only paid minimal taxes based on claims that Psquare had ceased to be active since their 2017 split. Based on these findings, Peter said he instructed his lawyer to file a formal petition to the EFCC, which launched the ongoing investigation. One of the criminal charges against Jude alleges he used Northside Music Limited to purchase a property in Parkview Estate, Okoye, for 850 million naira, funds that the EFCC believes were laundered. Another charge states he converted $1,019,762.87 via a bureau de change into naira and transferred the funds to various bank accounts to obscure their origins. Jude Okoye has pleaded not guilty to all counts. The trial was, however, adjourned until June 4, when Peter Okoye is expected to face cross-examination.
It is such a drama. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Psquare, barring all this drama that has happened to their career, they are probably one of the first most successful commercial, franchise out of Nigeria.
Oh yeah.
They were touring the world. people were crying and fainting at their concerts.
Aside even those touring, Psquare was that standard foreign artist.
Yes.
You know, you'll be doing cribs when we watch MTV cribs.
Yes.
They had cars, they had cribs, they
Yes.
had show off, they had everything as the proper artist. And
It's sad to see this end this way. There's nothing. I mean, this also happened just after their mom passed and all this
Yeah.
drama started off, and their family. That's the most incredible part. Their family, their actual brothers, blood brothers, and this
twins,
happening.
then elder brother.
You know, this happening. It's a total. It's bad for the entertainment industry. It's bad for the face of Psquare. It's bad for the brand Psquare. I don't think they can individually. Yes, they have their own personal brand, but they cannot. They cannot beat the brand Psquare that they have
never.
built.
Never.
And imagine if this had not happened, how big their brand would have still become. You know how they have been. Everybody would have been looking.
They were giving proper touring.
Yeah, they came before the era of streaming.
Digital streams, yeah.
You know, and they made so much money. Look at all the monies that we're talking about here. They made so much money. For it to be mismanaged this way, I think I also feel Peter's plight here.
Yeah.
You know, you work so hard, you make music, you do all that stuff, for it to be taken by not even a stranger, your brother who is supposed to be in charge of
watching your back,
watching your back. That is a lot of people can't come back from this. This is actually really sad.
But we never can tell now, so we're just keeping our fingers crossed and see all of this will pan out. Yeah, the case has been lingering for a long time, and he has said why he decided to take this matter up with the EFCC, because he needed clarity, and you're not saying anything. So let's carry the matter, go outside, make everything scatter.
I mean, so my question I want to ask is, why is Paul very lackadaisical about it?
Like not knowing anything.
Why is he not knowing anything?
And because Paul and Jude are cool. Peter is just the one on his own.
Oh well.
All right.
Let's see how it unfolds.